Om Vang me manasi pratishthitam mano me vachi pratishthitam Aviravirma edhi Vedasyama ani sthaha Shrutam me ma prahasihi Anena dhitena Horatran Samdadhami Ritam vadishyami Satyam vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu mam Avatu vaktaram Avatu vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om Udu ayam upavakteva bahu hiranyaya savita supratika devorohansi arohat prathivyah ariramat patayat kachit abhavam. Up he has arisen as a friend to guide us safe. Extending his golden hands, Savitar supremely beautiful, he grew to the heights of heaven and earth, stopping the terrible powers of the dark abyss from entering, casting them away. Ud, again, nearly every verse starts with Ud, means up. Up, ayan, went. Up went, upavakta iva, as if the one who is upavakta. Upavaktari is the one here, I put it, speaking away or warning off or averting. I think it is more like Vaktari is the one who speaks, but Upa near, who speaks near you. Kind of whispering into your ear, if you will. Upavach. Let me see what else we can. To address, praise also, to animate by the voice, to rouse, to impel. Could be also impelling. Or waking up, if you will. All of us, yes. He's risen and waking up all of us. Stretching his hands again, golden by gold, arms, supratika with perfect or with beautiful front, supremely beautiful, as I put. Divach rohansi, and their growth of div, of the heaven, arohat. He grew to the heights, yes. He grew to the heights of heaven and earth. Interestingly, that there are also heights of earth. This is typical Vedic language, because heaven and earth are two luminous firmaments. They are seen not only that earth is down, but they are also both in heaven, in the supermind. In the supermind, they are one and the same, equal and one, heaven and earth. They are both luminous foundations or firmaments. And then when it is coming down to the manifestation, they split and heaven becomes upper part and earth lower. But together, so he is rising to the heights of heaven and earth. Or maybe we can say even rising to the potential heights of heaven and earth. He's directed in his growth towards the highest heaven and highest earth, if you will. Ariramat stopped Patayat, throwing away Kachitabvam, some abyss. Abvam is abyss, constantly used in the Veda, actually, only in the Veda. There is the whole hymn to heaven and earth by Agastya Rishi, where he asks, "O heaven and earth, protect us from Abhava, from the inconscient, from the abyss of the inconscient." Somehow, these heaven and earth, these two rodasi, two luminous firmaments, they are made for the sake of our soul to dwell within them. Our soul is dwelling within the physical and mental consciousness. And this physicality and mentality are protectors. And also they are housing our soul. Our soul is dwelling within our mental and physical nature. Within. They are like one, what do you call it? Hiranyagarbha, yes? Like one embryo, golden egg, cracked, and the upper became golden and the lower silver, but they are still the egg, the shell, in which soul grows. It's like a house. They are housing the soul. By the way, if you look at our body, you will see the same, that it is housing our soul. Our body is not our body. It is actually the place where our soul dwells and does its work of the sacrifice. Our body itself is the field of the sacrifice. This heaven and earth are protecting our mentality and physicality. If physicality is broken, we are going crazy. What it means that all the powers of the vitality of that abhava, of that abyss, can enter and disturb the equilibrium. Or if our mentality is bewildered, our mind is not steady, it is the same thing. So these two have to be strong. They hold the healthy growth of the soul. If they are not strong enough, one of them or both of them, then there is no proper growth of the soul. It's interesting to mention then when we are in the nightmares. What are nightmares in the night? When we fall asleep, we move away from the physical body, so to say, quite a bit into the vital realm. And then we are attacked by the vital forces which want to possess this body, this shell. So what we do, we try to wake up. When we wake up, we are in the fortress. Physicality is our fortress. It protects us from this abhava. And our mentality is the fortress. That's why mind is to be developed, formed strongly, powerfully, yes? Though it is an obstacle for the intuition and for the higher, wider mind, but it is also a protector. We should not drop this logical, firmly made, built mind. Yeah? Makes sense.
Vladimir, is Abvam related to the root bu?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, good.
So, so the abyss is the non-existence, the non-being?
Yes.
Okay. That makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Right. It's rather even non-becoming, where on that level you cannot become, rather. Because the being is there, there's some being in the form of darkness, but not in terms of dynamic unfolding, becoming, growth. It's all stiffened. Yes, it is not. It is not in terms of consciousness. It is in terms of power. It's a great power, but not in terms of awareness, self-awareness. And then the last verse. Kamam adya savitar, sorry, kamam. Vamam adya savitar vamam ushvach. Dive dive vamam asmabhyam savich. Vamasyahi kshayasya deva bhurech. Ayadhiya vamabhajach siyama. Delight, vamam. You make for us today, O Savitar, delight tomorrow. You make or distill, press out for us delight day after day. Dive, dive, every day, day by day. May we become Siyama, O God, with the help of this meditative thought, Ayadhiya, yes? The enjoyers of delight, Vama Bahajach, of the crowded multitudinous indwelling of delight, Vamasyahi Kshayasya, of this Kshaya. Kshaya is an interesting word. It's from Kshi, to dwell, from here. Kshetra, we have other words. Yeah? So, of this dwelling, or this location, or this field of Vama, of delight, may we be the partaker, bhajach, of delight. Vama bhajach. Or those who share the delight, share it, shareholders of delight. Finally, found the word. Shareholders of delight, good word. Useful, actually. Otherwise, shareholders is a strange word. Great, this is the hymn. We are finished with this one, and we can move into the next. Do you have anything to say before we go to the next? Even if you don't, you say. It would be good.
Why did Griffith translate Vamam as wealth?
I don't know. Truly speaking, why he did that. Didn't think of him yet. We may try to ask him, Griffith, why did you do this? Truly speaking, delight and wealth are very closely related in the Veda, yeah? Because the wealth is the delight. No? What else we need wealth for, if not for the delight? It's an embodiment of delight. But not only in terms of kind of money, but in terms of beauty and, refinement and enjoyment and so on.
Vladimir, at some point, can we also do the hymn to heaven and earth, like you said?
Oh yeah, of course. We will do many hymns, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sure. We can even take that hymn which I mentioned of Agastya Rishi, which is a refrain is every time, in every verse there is a refrain. Oh, heaven and earth protect us from abyss. Oh, heaven and earth protect us from abyss. I think he is, in that hymn, he is formulating this need for our mental and physical strength, yeah, which is not, which is protecting us, actually. Do you notice that some people have very weak nervous body, yeah? Which means it's vital physical. Yeah? When vital physical is disturbed, their hands are trembling, they are very easily disturbed, easily reacting, jumping on you for no reason. It is not because their mind is weak even. It is because their nervousness in the system, physicality is weak. It could be disturbed by anything, by some bad events in their life, or long use of alcohol or some other abuse substances, or anything. Yeah. So they disturb or bad nourishment in the childhood, also possible, very weak body. anything is possible. Why body is weakened and nervous system is weakened. Sri Aurobindo many times speaks about this, that his integral yoga has to be for the strong physical and mental bodies. And if even few times he rejected people because of that, yes, that his mind is not strong, or his physical is not holding it, but this nervous body is too weak. So this has to be taken care of, especially when the higher force comes. When the higher force comes, it starts kind of shaking the whole system and changing it. And for these changes, we need to have very steady bodies.
Vladimir, I've seen this in some relatives' lives where there were four sisters who they all used to live, they were from this country. And the ones with the really strong determination and willpower, they lived to be like 95, 96, 97. The other ones who didn't have such strong mental capabilities and who weren't strong-willed died when they were in their 70s. So it makes a really huge difference in our lives, in our longevity, how firm our minds are, and our determination, and all the attributes that go with that.
Well, yeah, well, I don't think we mechanically live. Also, the soul decides when to leave. You can live, 30 years, be very strong in every way, and then decide to go. And so this cannot be a criteria. But you are right. If there is no such thing as soul decides, then from the natural point of view, the best longevity and the best life is possible only when the mental and physical are strong and even stubborn. Yeah? Resisting every change, are very stubborn, very persistent in their own groove, and these people live the longest. You just
Very
wonder
true.
why they continue to be so stubborn. No change in them.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right.
Hmm.
So stubbornness is not so bad after all, especially when you start doing yoga, because then you need that strength. Yeah? Strength. Then you have to become flexible, but with the strength, not without it, and not with a disturbance somewhere in the system. The whole process is because through the gate of this, of the antariksha, yes, all the higher forces come and lower forces, and they battle here, they fight for this adhar, for this shell. So that fight we have to be able to handle. And it's very difficult to handle when it starts, transformation. So for that we need stronger bodies. Sri Aurobindo even said about his own body that it is not so strong. And he delegated all his force to the mother. Because her body was stronger, he said, much stronger. His body was weakened in his childhood when he didn't have enough nourishment. When he lived in UK as a child in London, he had only one meal a day. And that one meal was not enough, he said. His body, his physical body, not mental, not the soul, not vital, very strong bodies he had, powerful, mighty, but his physical was not as strong as should be. This is something we just don't even think of, yeah? But the Rig Veda has this pattern of universal truth, yes? That these two is our shell. It is the place of our sacrifice. It is the means by which we grow. It is also the field and the outcome of our sacrifice. Yes, we are constantly refining it, changing it, transforming it, and it gives us, it is our purpose here, yes, to continue to do that and to pass all the changes through genetic code to the future generations. all the adjustments we made within this body to pass forward, one way or another, through children or through epigenetics, influence on others, through our presence. All right, hymn number 738. We are coming to Vasishtha. It's seventh mandala. This is one of the greatest rishis. He was in the previous mandala also. He was the Purohita of Rama, as you know, of Rama family, Rama family, H.P. Rama, right? And he is met everywhere. The whole story of Vasishtha and Vishwamitra, we know this story is beautiful from the Rig Veda. He was the teacher of Vishwamitra and blessed him and gave him the power of Brahma Rishi to Vishwamitra, yes, who is the author of the third mandala. He belongs to the oldest Gotra, Maitra Varuni, belongs to Varuna and Mitra. Varuna is the divine being, Mitra is the divine consciousness. There is only one more rishi of this Gotra, is Agastya Rishi. Agastya, Maitra, Varuni, these two grand rishis of the very ancient lineage. Vasishtha means the richest or the most luminous. Also, from Rutuvas we spoke about this root, to shine, to and also, yes, let us do the most luminous. So here we are. We have Savitar and Bhaga, two. Bhaga is O Bhaga, Savitar O Bhaga in the sixth verse. It is all Trishtup. And 7 and 8 will be Vajin, the possessor of plenitude. Udushya devach savitaya yama hiranyaim amatim yam ashishret. Nunam bhago haviyomanushe bhich vioratna puruvasuch dadhati. Up, the god Savitar has extended his golden splendor. Amatim, Vedic word only, which he fixed in heaven. Now Bhaga is to be invoked by man. Manushe bhich havyach Bhagach. Distributing riches all over, abounding in riches. Puruvasuch. Yeah. Vioratna dadhati puruvasuch. Literally, who distributes the shining wealth, Ratnani, who is the luminous dweller within this many bodies, puruvasuch, everywhere. Once the golden form of Savitar is fixed in the mental heaven of man, Bhaga is to be invoked to distribute riches all over, who has many riches. Once the golden consciousness of Savitar has reached its highest top, penetrating all with its light of knowledge and power, fixing all in his light, it opens up to the delight of Bhaga to act in this manifestation. Well, this is quite also normal for us, for every human being, why we are looking for knowledge, or intuitive knowledge, or Savitar's knowledge. It is knowledge which is true to power. It's not knowledge, some kind of fantasy or, hypothesis or some kind of mental in gymnastics, it is something which is true because it is powerful. It changes things. It corresponds to the action in life, to becoming, to being. It is totally in unison with our existence. And that knowledge power generates the delight. That's why we are looking for this true knowledge. We want the delight. We don't want knowledge. We want the delight which knowledge brings. Otherwise, why should we have knowledge, really? Knowledge does not do anything other than bringing a lot of delight. So this correspondence of knowledge and power is the measurement of the depth and, availability of delight. Many times I say, for me, the only criteria whether I am on the right track of thinking is this delight, which comes with the presence. First presence and then this immense delight. And if that comes, that means I know that I'm in the right direction. Even if the expression of the knowledge is not totally correct, but the direction of search for knowledge is correct. Makes sense? For you the same, for everyone the same. Yeah? Why we are so happy that we discovered something. Why that happiness comes. Sometimes we don't even understand. When we read Savitar, we are so happy. Why? Because it touched something deeper within us. That knowledge was triggered, awareness, and generated the delight. Udutishta Savitar Shrudhi Asya Hiranyapane Prabharitauritasya Viurvim Prithvi Mamatim Srejana Anribhyoh Martabhojanam Suvanach. Arise, Savitar, hear the word of this, O golden-handed Hiranyapane, vocative case. Agne, you remember? Pani, pane, Agni, Agne. And the offering of the bringing forward of rhythm, or in the bringing the dynamic truth forward in time, casting out from within yourself a profound wide splendor, urging and sending forth the enjoyment which mortals have as heroic souls engaged in the sacrificial work in this manifestation. So he is urging and sending the enjoyment which the mortals have as the heroic souls here. We are mortals. There's something very amazing about us. We are looking for the delight which is beyond, but we are on this side of the hemisphere. We are in the lower hemisphere, but looking for the delight in the higher hemisphere. So how do we get it? Through Savitar. He sends us this delight. Martabhojana is the mortal's enjoyment, a very rare enjoyment, which all the gods and asuras want to have. It's a very unique enjoyment, but do not want to be fully engaged in the manifestation by taking physical body, because it's difficult. For it has some other obligations and responsibilities if you take the body. Difficult to bear even for them, even for the gods and for the asuras and rakshasas. So they try to avoid taking the body, but they want the delight. But why they are interested in the Martabhojana, in the mortal's delight? What is Martabhojana? It is the enjoyment which consists of the integral consciousness of Savitar. It has both in itself the higher and the lower, knowledge and ignorance, and therefore it is unique and can't be compared to any other enjoyment. It is newly generated enjoyment. It's absolutely fresh, new perception of things with delight. For the unity together with distinct differences is a rare enjoyment. Today I had this very weird morning meditation, thinking about feeling that today is a totally different day, which I never lived before. Absolutely new space, new time, unknown, absolutely cleanly unknown. And if you think, what is this body then doing here? Where is it coming from if it is a totally new, fresh space, never experienced before? How this body continues in its own way? It has something to do with this Marta Bhojana. I'm coming to that point. So this kind of repetition, this prolonging, what Kinshuk did in his essay on the memory extending, it is trying with the being to extend and to embrace every possible time, every possible modality of existence. So what we conquered or earned within this Tanu is our body, Tanu is from spreading. We spread over particular time this existence of this body, which we embodied in space and time. I was born in particular time and I'm dying in particular time. This portion of time, this extension in time of the being, I got, but I want to extend it beyond. And I'm facing new coming, hitting me. And that hitting is constantly adjusting my existence, constantly challenging my incapacity with the necessity of higher capacity to embrace it. That's why we are flying through this cosmos with a high speed. Our solar system flies with 1 million kilometers per hour speed. You can't imagine the speed with which it flies through the cosmos. And our Earth around the sun, and sun around the galaxy, and the galaxy is extending into this, I don't know what. And we are never in the same space, never in the same time. It's new time. What I was telling 1 minute ago, 1 second ago is gone. It's not there anymore. It's a new time, new perception, fresh, constantly fresh. And this has something to do with Marta Bhojana, with enjoyment of the mortal being flying through time. All right, maybe I will stop here and see what we can offer some ideas to this thinking.
Let's talk more on this Marta Bhojana.
Right. So how do you see it then?
Like you said, we are just flying through time. So that means we are eating the time. Consuming the time?
Eating is the key, I guess, for enjoyment. Yes, bhojana is food actually. In in Sanskrit also, bhojana is enjoyment and food. We consume. We consume the being by being there in that space and time. I remember this film I was mentioning before. You said the fallen angel or something. And when angel fall and he first time felt what it is to be in really in the physical body. Before he was only like, power which is reaching out, helping beings. And then the most fascinating for other angel who fell before was food. Peanut butter, he said, was something you can't imagine what it is. The God cannot really enjoy that enjoyment, what peanut butter gives. And that was something really to think. If you think of it, and he asked her when she tried, he fell in love with a woman, and so that's why he turned into a human being. And when they went to the market and they bought different fruits, and she took that pear when he was still an angel, and he asked her, "How does it taste, pear?" He was so drawn to this taste because he never had taste. And she said, "You don't know how pear tastes?" I didn't know what to say. No, how does it taste to you? And this was actually a very subtle moment. How does it taste to you in this moment of time? It's a unique enjoyment. It's this Marta Bhojana. And she described how it is. It's grainy, it's sugary, it melts in the mouth. And he said, it's perfect. And she was surprised that she could really describe how it tastes. So we don't pay attention, unfortunately. We just eat very fast. But if we pay attention to all the varieties of this mortal enjoyment in life, it's an amazing, enterprise. It's full of delight, life, everywhere. But we are in a hurry to do something.
That's why the soul plunged down for this experience.
Yeah. Yes, Selby, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think we spend actually, at least I do, very little time in the moment, very little time being aware of this particular right now, what's passing. For me, it's kind of scary because I know I could go so deep in that moment that I have to kind of like dwell in the future or the past, because when I go into the moment, it's a very overwhelming, deep experience. So I think that, what you realized this morning about, everything is fresh and new, a completely new moment, that's so profound that it's very hard to function as a normal human being when at least I have not arrived at a place where I can maintain that and also be the person I need to be in this world.
Right.
Maybe that's what integral yoga will teach me, is how to do that. I can go to that place, but then everything stops. And I have not learned how to maintain that awareness while being what everybody else thinks I am,
Right.
if that makes any sense.
Totally makes sense. This is the most difficult thing to achieve.
I was reading a book on quantum physics, and this person, Carlo somebody, approached it in a very different way. So he says that the now that we experience here, right now, is not the same now as a person is experiencing, let's say, 3.5 million light years away. These two nows can never be joined because it is not, and then he comes from 3.5 million light years to write to the person next to you. He says, your now and that person's now differs by some micro million millionth of a nanosecond or whatever, and it can never be joined because light takes some time to travel from you to that person to whoever. So by the time you have experienced your now, it's for you it's gone, and for him it is now. So it's difficult for me to, I've been actually thinking about this for some time, but really speaking, the concept is nice. You can never join your now to another person's now unless there is some heavy Martha Bhojanam going on, I guess. That's what I understood from this.
I think, though, that there's recently they've figured out that the things can travel faster than the speed of light, and that this whole business of string theory, I think I don't know enough about it to speak about it properly, but I believe it alludes to the fact that things are simultaneous because the entire universe is interconnected. If that's the case, then there wouldn't be any time lapse between someone, a million light years away and someone here.
But even
But
then, there is nanoseconds or seconds difference. Difference is difference, yeah. So you will never be able to clone the same now in the moment, which, and also space related, yeah. I'm in this space, you're in that space. We are in totally different time space continuum. So we will never be able to overlap them in terms, that is the infinity of the being. There is a beautiful work by Heidegger, Being and Time, actually. And if you think of the very idea of being and time, yeah, the beingness is being maintained through time. That beingness, that moment, yeah, that infinity, which comprises all the differences, all the moments in time, Trikaladrishti of the supermind, yes, from which you see all the times and beyond time, is possible for all of us. We are all connected to the center. That it will not be the same, from the point of view of the mind, matching black and white, of course not. but that is not the issue here. I don't think we want to match it and make it the same. Who wants the same, really? It's infinite in its varieties. Physicality is infinite. You don't find the same fingerprint. What to say more? You can't do anything. You can't find the same pebbles on the shore or the same leaves in the whole forests. There will be never the same thing. Even the line which we make, somebody was comparing the line coast, and then when you approach it more and more and more, there will be still varieties and still varieties within the varieties, and within varieties, still varieties, infinitely varieties. You will never come to that where varieties stop. And this is the particle from which there are no varieties. There's no such thing. So if it is not, then this infinity of energy is totally different paradigm. I'm just thinking about infinity. What does it really mean to be infinite in the varieties? And what are we doing together then? What is the purpose of us? Are we looking for sameness? This is such a lame thing to do, no? We are not looking for sameness. I was thinking the same as you and Kinshuk also, that the light which is traveling from the stars million years ago, what we see, maybe not there anymore, far long ago, everything in this different universe. We are seeing a shadow of the universe, yeah? What we see in this moment of time. So what is all this then about? Where is that thing, Robin? Now you can talk.
Is there something? Okay, raise my hand here.
No.
Going back to what Selby was saying earlier about living in the moment, um, if our lives are actually a manifestation of our karmic vasanas and samskaras, what actually holds it all together physically when our consciousness is so flexible? For instance, you were in the state of mind that you were in this morning. You see everything moment to moment to moment. Well, there's a stability in the physical world. This body is still together, and so there seems like there's an undercurrent, a foundational something that continues while, our consciousness can be flexible and do all kinds of things and go everywhere. But I'm still here. This
Yeah,
is
well,
still
if
here.
you call I am, then yes, then
Yeah.
it's that's what I realized, that my body is actually not me totally, because I'm here to do something with this. Because if in that state, when you look at your hands and body, you'll be surprised. Oh, look at this! What is this?
What's
Oh,
this?
Aging.
How'd that have?
aging,
Where'd
yeah.
this come from?
Oh, yeah. You don't see even aging. You see something else. You feel that it is not. It's like you are seeing yourself in the movie or something.
Yeah.
But Robin, isn't it the consciousness itself that is that continuity? Not that the
What is that?
consciousness is changing. Isn't it the consciousness itself that is the continuity rather than the body? You said the body's
Yeah.
still here, but I think it's the consciousness of the body that's still here. The body is constantly changing.
Fortunately, it doesn't fluctuate as much as my mind does. Otherwise, that'd be a real mess. You're
Well,
like scrambled
consciousness
egg.
is not mind, luckily for us. Otherwise,
Yeah.
yes, it would be a total mess. Mhm.
Yeah. Big time.
But I'm sure all the parts of our body share the same now.
Yeah, because they have
And
consciousness.
so the infinite being could be a person who shares the same now for every different part that he has become. Simultaneously experiencing everything altogether.
Maybe say that again,
I
please.
just said that, sorry, I just said that. So this infinite being could be somebody who has this power to experience the now for all his parts and all his different beings that he has become.
Wow.
Different beings that we become.
Yes,
See,
I
just
see.
like all my cells share a single now. Okay, because they are under control of my consciousness. I know that all of them are part of me. When I die, they don't share a single now. They all become different nows. Just a thought. Sorry, I was just.
Hmm.
That is
Interesting
one
thought.
consciousness which allows us to be in now and to be identified with any object of sense and know it by identity. That is consciousness. So I can see myself in you and you in myself. Yes, everyone, everybody in myself and myself in everybody. And that is the consciousness which permits me to exist, coexist with the rest, yeah? And have a meaningful interaction. It is much deeper than it looks like. If you look at the surface, mind and body and vital, it's very little kind of representation of that consciousness. It's not full kind of presence of it, but it extends deeper. It becomes a witness, as Sri Aurobindo experienced it, yes, where you see yourself like absolutely silent, viewing yourself as somebody else, walking, doing, talking, and you are not him. There's somebody there whom you call Sri Aurobindo and so on. And then you realize that it goes even deeper dynamically. That whom you saw as not yourself, your body is an extension and work of Prakriti, and you are Purusha separated from Prakriti, viewing her objectively, as it were, in all her kind of manifestations of the mind, vital and body, not only body, but also vital and mind. Thoughts are coming, you see thoughts are traveling, coming into the body of this being, forming there. He speaks something, and you're viewing all that objectively. Can you imagine that realization? Then from there you start your journey and go deeper and find that actually it's not totally separate. It is somewhere in the depth, has a command over Prakriti and choice to make and will to exercise. So that's another level of discovery, and then even more so transformation starts, and that being which was unaware on the surface becomes slowly aware of the inner internal being present. This is the magical change of integral yoga.
Because then you merge with the witness self, the Jivatma. And then you view from that, and this connection with the psychic.
Or you change your nature so much, your Prakriti changes, your instruments of knowledge become so much more subtle and receptive of the presence beyond, that beyond can reach out to the surface without obstacles. So you are not an obstruction anymore. You are not that small being which is restricting time and space. You are allowing that vast, infinite time and space to enter, to be present at least. And that consciousness, as Kinshuk said, is we all share. And it is through that consciousness that I know you and you know me. And you know everyone and everything. So from
Kinshuk,
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead, Savi.
No, I just wanted to say, Kinshuk, that idea that maybe the Supreme is that consciousness that is aware of every manifestation at the same time. That really blows my mind. That really puts me in just how you phrased it, which is not how I just said it, but really puts me in touch with how my consciousness relates to the Supreme's consciousness. So thank you. I really, really need to meditate on that. Just how you said it.
I don't know how I said it, but it's something I've been thinking about. Yeah, it's like we communicate on two levels. One is we are communicating by way of words, but somehow at the back of it, we know we don't really need to communicate by way of words either. I think, how to say this?
Hard to say with words.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like you see people, you know them, and where does this knowledge come from? I mean, Robin will be familiar with this. Robin, when you take interview of a person, you talk to that person for barely 2 minutes or maybe even 1 minute, and you know exactly what he is like. Isn't that right? I mean, and you rarely go wrong. There's some knowledge which we have of people which heightens with particular skills and particular things. You just know. And
Yeah.
there are people, I'm sure there are rishis who take one look at a person. They say they take a look at the uh, at the this forehead or something, and they can make out who this person is, where
Mm.
he's coming from, what is he up to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a skill that we can develop. And I think as we get further along in meditation, as we get more still internally, then what a person is registers in us. Uh, their reality, their consciousness, actually, we partake of it, and so then we can actually know another person quite intimately if we choose to, if we go there. Um, I wish I wish I could say I always made good choices with people. I can think of some terrible mistakes I've done in my life in the past that I wish I could correct, but it's too late. And but I've gotten better at it. I've gotten more intuitive. At least I I understand how important it is to respond to those feelings that we have. Whereas when you're younger, you might overrule it because you see something else. Your mind has something else in mind, and so you don't pay as much attention. Now I do pay attention.
yeah, we allow ourselves to deviate from indication what is right, to see
Hmm.
how wrong it was. We want to see, yeah, there is some
It's
freedom
true.
of soul which wants to experiment and to somehow we are aware and we are sure that we are okay even doing that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you all. We close with the mantra and continue next time. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I got a new sense of this mantra after this discussion. It's kind of interesting. May all be happy. What does it really mean? All be happy. May all find that source from which they see everyone. May all see only blissful things. That means may they reach to the depth of their beings. That's what it means. It doesn't mean be happy where you are, whatever you are, be happy. Not at all. It's a dynamic blessing to go deep and find your true self. Great. Okay. See you then next time. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.